It is yet another day for another lesson. Yes, you are at the right place. This is English Home Language for grade 8. I am your teacher, your presenter for the lesson. Thank you for joining us today. And without a waste of time, let's get on with the lesson of the day. Let us see who is with us today. Can you say hi in the chat so we can see who has joined us today? Can you take the register for the day, so to say? All right, okay. I see a couple of highs in the chat. Thank you, Nkanka Helene. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think, okay, now that I'm not alone, we can start with the lesson, right? Okay, so in today's lesson, we will be learning about advertisements. So this will be the first part. This will be lesson number 1 about advertisements, and we'll have another lesson tomorrow to continue on the very same thing, right? There's a lot to cover. So let us not waste time and get on with it. So like I said, today's lesson will be about advertisements. So remember, if you have a question, if you need clarity on anything we are doing, please use the chat, ask your questions in the chat, and I promise you that as soon as I see your question in the chat, I will get to it. Yes, hi Homolemo, thank you also for joining us. Thank you for being part of the lesson. It's going to be good. We are going to learn. We are going to enjoy ourselves in this morning, right? Okay, so advertisements are a form of persuasive writing. Yeah, yes, that is what advertisements are. You realize that, what advertisements do is they persuade us into doing certain things. They persuade us into thinking in a certain way. And you will realize in this lesson that studying advertisements is really something very interesting. And I really believe that this lesson would equip all of us to really see how advertisements work and what influence they have on our mentality, on our attitudes, etc., etc. It's going to be a very wonderful lesson. It's going to be interesting. Thank you for joining us. And yes, let's continue to learn about advertisements. I mean, we see them everywhere. You turn on your TV. When you watch your favorite show, they will go on commercial break, and then there will be several advertisements. You will go online on your social media, you will see several advertisements. You go to YouTube to watch some videos, there will be some advertisements. So advertisements really are things that which is very difficult to avoid. You cannot avoid them. They are all around us. You go to the grocery store, they are there. While you walk in the streets, there are billboards of advertisements around you. So you can really see that as long as you have your eyes open, then chances are you are bound to see an advertisement. Okay, so here is a quote about advertisements. It's from Jim Metcalf, who said, I quote, "If you are a good marketing person, you have to be a little crazy." Wow, that is hilarious. So yeah, I think we can really agree with this quote that, I mean, you have seen how many of these advertisements, they really seem so crazy. Some of them will really have us laughing by the end of it, especially those on TV. So you can really see that, people who do these advertisements, all these marketers, they really have that funny bone. They really have that sense of humor, and that is something that which they use to their advantage to really get us, to really catch our attention, and to also catch our interest. Right, so now let us get on with the main thing of our lesson. Advertisements are a form of persuasive writing. Right? Yes, I have already said that. Okay, let's see. We have a question in the chat. Helene saying, usually how much does an advertisement cost? I really can't tell you. I don't know. I really can't tell you how much exactly. But one thing that I know that which it is worth to note is that an advertisement which appears on TV will not cost as much as an advertisement that appears on the newspaper, and it will not cost as much as an advertisement that appears on your social media or on YouTube. Okay, so you realize that all these platforms, they really have different numbers of the people that which they reach out. An advertisement on radio doesn't reach out as much as the one on TV, and it does not reach out as much as the one on social media. Yeah, so you would see that many companies, because of that, they will really use different methods to advertise. You will find the same advert on Facebook, you'll find it on YouTube, you will see it when you watch TV, you will see it on the newspaper. It's almost like you will see it in different types of media, because that is what marketers are trying to do. They're trying to reach as many people as they possibly can. And if you use only one mode of media, then you may not be able to reach so many people. I mean, like, for example, look now, if you can use a radio, you can only reach a certain amount of people, if you use radio, because most of our smartphones, they do have the app for radio. But how many of us will really use the radio app? Not many of us do that. And radios there are many radio stations out there. There are community-based radio stations which can only be accessed in a certain community. There are some radio stations which can only be accessed in a certain city or in a certain province. And then there are those big radio stations which can reach all over South Africa. And then not only that, there are those community radio stations which you can find in some of your streaming apps. But you realize that to access a radio from a streaming app, you need to use data. And for some people, data can really be a handicap. You don't know how much data you may really need for that. So yeah, that is one thing we may need to know, that advertisers, they use different modes of media for their advertisements, so as to reach as many people as they possibly can. Because even with myself, I really can't tell you when was the last time I used radio. I have the radio app on my tablet, I have the radio app on my phone, but still I don't use radio. Even on the app that which I use to stream music, there are radio stations there, but I hardly use them. Okay, so if advertisements, they want to target me, they really cannot reach me by using radio. They'll have to use TV or social media. See, so yes, that's what I can say to you, Helene. But I once said that a person who let us say you, Helene, let's say maybe a certain brand or a certain company is using you to advertise their product. Chances are that you can earn as much as 100,000 for a commercial that is about 30 seconds to 60 seconds long. Yeah, so imagine if then an advertiser can spend 100K on you as the advertiser. Then you really wonder how much then can they really spend on all the costs associated with the advertisement. So yeah, it really is a lot of money. Okay, we have Asanda in the chat saying YouTube is the most used. Yes, I really think so, Asanda. I mean, you can go to YouTube right now to look for this lesson or any other thing, a music video or whatever. You realize that the first thing you see will be an advertisement. And even when you're still watching what you watch on YouTube, it will be broken. It will be broken, and then it will pause to go to an advertisement. Right. So I hope you are answered, Helen. Right. So the purpose of advertisements is to persuade through a process of explaining a proposition to persuade readers or viewers to accept a point of view or to adopt certain behavior. Okay, so I think all of us, this is something that we see in 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 every advertisement that which we see or read, right? That you realize that every advertisement really, they are trying to persuade us to see things in a different way. They're trying to persuade us to adopt certain behavior. For example, an advertisement of a new smartphone, what does it try to do? They are trying to have you to see that the smartphone that which you are using right now, it is not as good. It is not a flagship phone. It is not that good. It doesn't have good cameras. It doesn't have good screen quality. It doesn't really, you can't really use it to play games so well, etc, etc, etc. So they like to show you that this new phone they are advertising, this is the best phone. It has million cameras, it has a big screen so you can watch your movies and your videos, it has long lasting battery so you can stream your music for as long as possible, etc, etc. So that is something that all adverts have in common. They are trying to persuade us to see things in a certain way and to adopt certain behaviors. All right, so that's what advertisements are all about, and we are going to continue to learn more about them in the lesson. All right, so advertisements have many different language features, right? And those language features depend on these three things. Number one, the target audience. Two, the purpose of the advert. And three, the subject of the advert. So what this means is that, okay, number one, the target audience. So you will realize that each and every one of these adverts, they will use certain words, right? Depending on their target audience. For example, if then an advert is selling toys, then you know that the, the target market for that advertisement is children, right? Is kids. Therefore, they will not use that jargon, that very formal English. They will use those words that they know that kids are most familiar with, those words that which kids are most familiar with. And then after that advert, you would have a child coming to you saying, daddy, mommy, uncle, aunt, brother, sister, can you please buy me this toy? Why? Because that child will have understood, that child will have been reached by that advert, because these advertisers, they know their target market, and therefore their advert will be in a way that which it will be appealing to their target audience. Number two, they will also have the advert in a way that which it achieves the purpose of the advert. So if this advertisement is for kids and they're advertising a certain toy, then the purpose of that advert will be to have the children to want to have that toy, right? So they will make that advertisement to look so amazing on TV. They will make that toy to look as if that is the best toy ever, that if you are a child and you have this toy, you're going to have the best childhood ever, you're going to have the best playtime ever, right? Then also the subject of the advert, right? So the subject of the advert, it will be whatever it is that which they are advertising, right? So although I made an examples based on the adverts you see on TV, but then in this lesson, it's really about those adverts that which we read about, okay? Because things is in your curriculum, towards the end of the year, you will write a test on exam, there will be an advertisement you may have to analyze and answer questions on, right? Yes. So here's a question. How do adverts persuade us? Number one, they do this by aiming at a particular type of a customer. So that is what they know, all right? That, okay, for this product, we are aiming at this age group. Let us say for this new smartphone, we are aiming at this age group of 16 to 25 years, right? They will have that in mind. They'll have that in mind, that is their aim. Okay, that is their aim, that is the customer that is they're looking for. And then number two, they use carefully chosen and positive language. you realize that, all these advertisements, they are positive, you know, they make sure that whatever they do, they are positive, so that you really associate their product with positivity. I mean, if right now I am a phone manufacturer, and then I am manufacturing this low-end phone. Let me say it's a very cheap phone, which costs 500 rands, and I know that, a phone which really costs that much, chances are it lags, the screen is small, the camera is blurry, the battery life is not that good, but then I will not be saying that. I will say that, this phone is cheap, it's 500 rands, it will not get you out of budget. The screen is small so that you can be able to hold it. um there is a camera so that you can snap your favorite memories. I will say any and every positive thing about it. I will not say any bad thing about that small phone. I will not say that it is cheap because the camera is blurry, the screen is small, the battery life is terrible, and all that. No. So that is what adverts do. Number three, they appeal to some aspects of a reader's personality. All right. So, okay, in this example of this cheap smartphone, they will appeal to, I mean, we all know that most people, we really like to save money. You'd really try to spend as little as you possibly can for a product. Okay. So if this smartphone I'm advertising, it costs 1,000 at shop number one, and then it costs 700 at shop number two. Chances are that you'll go to buy it at shop number two, because if you buy at shop number two, you would have saved 300 rands, and then you can use that 300 rands for some other things. You can get yourself a pizza or whatever you may want. Yeah, or maybe those noise canceling headphones, maybe those wireless earphones, stuff like that. So yes, that is how adverts persuade us people. Okay, so advertisements, they use carefully chosen language to appeal to their target audience, right? And you realize that some of these words that which I wrote here, I think you've seen them in some of the adverts so far. Okay, uh, those carefully chosen language, it includes words such as special offer, special offer, cool, exclusive. I mean, especially the word exclusive. They will say this phone is exclusive to what store, right? So this will mean that you can only get that at that store only. You cannot get it at any other store. They will use the word such as cheaper. Cheaper, it gives us that impression that we will save money, we will use less money on the product. Then they will say free. Free, you get something free. I mean, they know that people really love free things, and there is this saying which says that the best things in life are free. And when you think of those things, you think of oxygen. You breathe in oxygen, which is best, and it is free. You think of life itself. You didn't pay to really be alive, etc., etc. So yeah, and then and then there's also those ones of saying buy one and get one free. I will say buy this phone and get another one for free. Yeah, and that is one of the things that which they do say. And then other words, they include words such as like latest fashion. I mean, especially with girls or other people who are what we call fashionistas. They really like to be in touch. They would like to really flow with the trends. So when they see the word latest fashion, then they go all crazy. So, wow, I really want that boot, I really want that blouse, I really want that hat, that suit, that tuxedo, stuff like that. And then genuine, yes, the best. Okay, let's see. I have a question in the chat. Nkanka is asking us, sir, when we watch the lotto, is that advertising? Okay, okay, Nkanka, when you watch the lot, okay, I think your question is twofold. Ne? When you watch the lotto draw, that is not advertising, right? The lotto draw itself is not advertising, because in the lotto draw, that is when they are drawing the numbers. They are telling you that today's winning numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? Yes. So that being the winning lotto numbers, that is not an advertisement. But in the same, but in the same lotto draw, after the draw, they will say, to the next lotto draw, the jackpot is guaranteed at a whopping 500 million, right? Guaranteed results. The jackpot is guaranteed at 500 million rands. Now that is advertising, because they are advertising that, in their next episode, in their next episode, the jackpot will be 500 million rands. So what they're trying to do is they're advertising their jackpot so that you can go to the store or go online to play, so to play in the hopes of winning that jackpot. Okay, so yes, so that is what happens in Kankla. So then that means that after that draw, they will advertise the jackpot of the next draw so as to persuade you to buy a lotto ticket, right? Yes. Okay, then sometimes the advertisement, they will say, if you want a smartphone, look no further than our shop, because in our shop they are cheap, right? Then bargain. I think this is one of the most common saying. This is a bargain, I mean, this usually sells for 1,000, but this is a bargain. For today only, you can get it at 500, like half price. Then they can also say number one. We are the number one shop when it comes to laptops. We are the number one shop when it comes to smartphones. So they are making you to want to buy that product at their own shop and nowhere else, right? Yes. Okay, there is a very interesting comment in the chat. I think I'll read it. Helene says, no advertisement can persuade me to buy anything. Helene, that is why advertisements are the way they are. They are trying to persuade you to buy something, even something you already have, even something that which you already have, even something that which you do not need. Adverts can really have you to buy that, right? Yes. Even if you stay at home, guys, remember that now you don't have to go outside to buy anything. You can just go to your phone. Many shops, they really have online platforms where you can buy online. You just buy at the comfort of your own home, in your own room. You just buy whatever you want to buy, right? So it is not really about going outside anymore. Even when you are in your room, you really may be tempted to buy, right? So advertisements, again, what they do, they promise us the following. Okay, they promised us to cure all ailments, right? I mean, I think you have seen that, especially that you as teenagers right now, you are at that point where most of you will be having pimples, you'll be having blackheads, acne, eczema, so then you realize that the adverts of skin products, they will be promising you that they can cure your eczema, they can cure your acne, they can cure your pimples, they can remove your blackheads, right? Not only that, but each and every advert, they promise that, if it is an advert for a smartphone, they promise that they can cure your ailment of FOMO, that fear of missing out. Yeah, so that's what all these adverts do, they really have you to believe that they can cure all your ailments, that whatever that which you need, and there is an advert for it. If right now you are hungry and then like you you need food, there will be an advertisement for pizza, for burgers, for chips, and then now that with all these apps, you will download that app and you will order online and they will deliver it to your door. I mean, isn't that convenient? So that is what these adverts do, that they are showing us that they can really make life so much easy for us. Number two, they promise us to solve all our problems. Whatever problem that which you have, there is an advert which promises to solve it. Think of any problem and you realize that there is an advert which really fixes, which promises to fix that problem. Okay, if you do not have a smartphone right now, there is an advert, which shows a smartphone there. It doesn't matter where the advert is at, whether it appears on the newspaper or on the magazine, or whether you see it on YouTube or on social media. But there is an advert which will tell you that no, you really do not have to go through life without a smartphone. Here's this smartphone, it's only 1,000 rands. It has this big screen, a good battery life, the camera is decent. You can download your favorite social media apps. You can download Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, Pinterest, and all that stuff, right? And adverts, again, they promise us that they will change our lives for the better. That's what all these adverts do, okay? Because right now there is something you do not have, okay? Let's say right now you've been having a smartphone for the past 2 years, and then they've launched a new smartphone. Chances are the advert of this new smartphone, it will have you to believe that if you get this new smartphone, your life will be better because this new smartphone has an updated software, it has a bigger screen, a better battery life, you can use your finger to unlock it, all those things, right? Okay, so that is what these adverts, they really promise us. Then how do they attract your attention and stick in your memory? Because I think guys, you realize that adverts are very memorable, because I remember even myself growing up, there was this Domestos advert. I think I was still in primary school, when that advert was popular. But even now, I can still remember that advert. It has been more than 10 years now since I have seen that advert, but I can still remember it right now. I can remember it right now. I have the images of it. I also know what the characters in those adverts were saying. I mean, that is how memorable advertisements are. And advertisements, they are almost as memorable as your favorite song. That's the scary thing about it. So yes, so what do they do to attract your attention and to make sure that they stick in your memory? Number one is that they can use humor to get you in a good mood. You will realize that something which makes you happy, it's hard for you to forget it. If then for you eating pizza makes you happy, then you will not forget that. So that is what these adverts do. They really make those adverts which will really make you to feel so good. Yeah. Number two, they ask questions to hook you in. You can really think of adverts which do that. Number three, number two, they ask questions to hook you in. I remember there was one, then number three, they appeal to your senses. What are your senses? Your senses is sight, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling, right? Yes, I remember there was one time recently, I went to YouTube, right? And then as I was about to watch the video on YouTube, there was this advertisement saying, "Oh, look, have you eaten today? You look like you are hungry. You look like you're hungry. Get yourself something to eat." Can you imagine that? You just go to YouTube to watch a video and then you see that advertisement. Chances are you may really be tempted, to really order that food online so that it may be delivered to you as you are still watching the video. So yeah, that is what they do. Okay, let's see the chat. I have Tyrese saying, when you go and order, okay, Tyrese says, when you go to McDonald's or something to order the Big Mac, that looks amazing in the adverts, but when you get there, it's small. Yes, Tyrese, thank you. That is something that they usually do in advertisements. They will make something to look so big, especially with fast food. They will make that burger to look big. They will make those chips to look like they are big. They will make that pizza to look so big and so tasty. But then when you get there and then you buy them, you realize that they are not as big as you hoped they were. They are not as big as you saw them in the advertisement. Yeah, it happens, Tyrese. Sorry, it happens. So yeah, be ready for that, okay? Be ready for that, Tyrese. It happens. Right. Another ways they use to attract our attention is that they use alliteration, rhyme, or a play on words to create a memorable slogan. You can think of any slogan of any advertisement right now. You realize that all of them, their slogans are very memorable. Okay, number five, they persuade you to imagine yourself using their product. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, I mean, like now, you can after. Like now, after seeing that advert of a new smartphone, you are already imagining yourself on WhatsApp using that smartphone. You are already imagining yourself taking a selfie with that smartphone. You are already imagining yourself listening to your favorite music using that new smartphone. Okay. Yeah, and then even now, even if it's food like fast food, you are now already imagining yourself eating that pizza, eating that burger, eating those chips, yeah. Number 6, they make you feel special, yeah, they make you feel special. They be saying, just for you, get this burger and chips combo for a low price of 29.99. I mean, imagine that. They make you feel special. They make you feel like you are the only person in the world. They make you feel like that special is only for you, that the very same meal that we should buy at 30 rands, somebody else is buying it for 50 rands. So it's almost like you are saving while other people are overspending on the same thing. So that is what they do, okay? That these advertisers, they make the advert to really feel like it has been customized for you. Yeah. Okay, let me see your comments in the chat. Helene says companies usually make their products sarcastic in their adverts. Yes, Helene, that happens. It happens. It happens, yes. So it really doesn't matter what they advertise, guys. I mean, I can only make a few examples. It doesn't matter what they advertise, whether it is a game, a new gaming console, a book, a computer, a laptop, a smartphone, food, clothing items, or whatever things. So yeah, that is really all that is about, so that is how advertisements really work. Okay, so anyway, there's really so much to cover as far as advertisements are concerned. So in tomorrow's lesson, we will still continue in part 2 of advertisements. There's really is so much to cover, guys. There's really so many examples, right? So are there any questions, guys? Or is there any section you would like me to go back on? Because this is the last page of my slide. Okay, yes. So anyway, I have a question for you. Tell me how advertisements really make you feel, Okay, let us say right now, the phone that which you are using, the screen is broken, it lags, it jams and stuff like that, and then now you are on YouTube, they show you this phone and you really would like to have it, how then would such an advertisement make you feel? You can raise your hand and I'll give you a chance to speak. You can raise your hand and I'll give you a chance to speak. All right, we have Asanda. Yes, Asanda.
Good morning, sir. Well,
Morning,
sir,
Asanda.
so there are some adverts that like they don't entertain me that much. Let's say, no offense, because I'm a girl, right? So
Okay.
PlayStation or Xbox comes on, I'll be like, why is this thing? Can I just skip it or something? Then yes, then there are those adverts that maybe do attract me a bit, but then I don't like those phone adverts because Corona, so they're advertising using Popeyes, or let me just say cartoons. So I feel like so you're not using a real human, you're advertising, like, why? So I'm not a fan of those at all. I'm not.
Okay. So, all right, let me ask you this. If then I was an advertiser and I wanted to get your attention, or I wanted you to buy my product as an advertiser, so which should I really advertise to really get? Yeah, so I think from what Asanda said, we have learned that, not every advertisement will appeal to everyone. Remember in my other slide, let me go to it. Just a moment. Yes, remember that in this slide, remember what I said? I said that, they aim at the, okay, no, it's not this one, sorry. It must be the previous one. Yes, in this one. Remember I said in this one that, in every advertisement, they look at the target audience, right? So from what Asanda said, Asanda was saying to us that, she really doesn't like all these advertisements of gaming consoles like PS5, because she is a girl and she's not into gaming, right? So you realize that if then you were an advertiser for PlayStation 5, then Asanda's not your target audience. Asanda is a girl, so then chances are you really advertise it with your target audience being guys, because most guys are gamers, you know. Most of us guys are gamers, we love playing games, gaming consoles, Xbox, PlayStation. Like, if you can ask a guy about gaming consoles, they can really name them to you like that, your Nintendo DS, your Super Nintendo Entertainment System, all those old ones, the Game Boys, yeah, they can really name them for you. Okay, seems like Asanda has raised her hand again. Let's hear what she has to say to us. Yes,
So
Asanda?
I'm trying to say, yes, I do agree with that part. But maybe let's say I have a brother, right? He'll
Yes.
be more interested in that, and we'll probably start fighting over the remotes or something, because now
Okay.
he wants to see what's going on, and I'm like, why is that on? I just don't want that on. So they I won't say they know who they want to see that
Okay, take a
they
deep
want
breath
to
and
see who they
relax, relax.
want.
Okay, relax.
It's fine, sir.
Okay, so that was Asanda. I think she's having network problems. I don't know if we can be able to get her back. Oh, Asanda.
Oh, so I was trying to say, so they don't really know who they want, who who like I'm trying to say that I can have a brother, right? I said that
Yes.
before, but then there's a possibility that I can force him to not watch it, or he can force me to watch it. So they don't know who they're aiming for. Like,
Mhm.
do you understand what I'm trying to say, sir?
I do, I do. What you are saying is that, okay, you do not like gaming consoles because you're a girl, right? But then your brother happens to love it, and then there is an advertisement about a
Yes,
new
sir.
PlayStation 5 on TV, and then you want to change the channel because that doesn't really appeal to you, right? And that
Yes,
almost
sir.
kind of frustrates you because that's not your thing. That's not something you want, even if you can really have billions and billions of money or billions of dollars, that's not something you'll ever buy for yourself because you don't want
Yes,
it.
sir. That's why I actually think that YouTube adverts are better, because sometimes they do give you an option to skip. So to
Yes.
say skip instead of having to watch the whole thing.
Okay, thank you so much, Asanda. Thank you so much. So that was Asanda telling us a side of the story of how adverts really impact her and how she feels about advertisements. Thank you so much, Asanda, because from what you have said, um, it also did demonstrate what I've said, that each and every advert really has its own target audience, right? There are very few adverts which really cater for everybody. For this PlayStation, it only caters for people who are gamers, and not every guy loves games, So yeah, not every guy loves games, and there are those who love them, but they can't afford them. Therefore, they may not really be that interested because it might frustrate them, that they want to get this PS5, but then it is so expensive, they can't really afford it. So they'd rather maybe stick to their PS3s and PS4, or maybe or maybe get a cheaper or a more affordable gaming console. Right. So is there anyone else who wants to say something about adverts and how adverts really impact them? You can raise your hand and I'll give you a chance to speak. We are only left with 5 minutes before the end of the lesson. So I do not want to end the lesson before time. I want to give you a chance to speak. All right, okay. I see. No. Seems like nobody wants to speak. Nobody wants to talk. So anyway, that really was me introducing advertisements, right? So in tomorrow's lesson we are going to go a bit deeper than this, and Tomorrow's lesson is also going to be interactive. I will be having a couple of questions for you all. I hope you will be ready, drink some hot water, make sure you had some tea maybe before the lesson, make sure that your voice is ready. Charge your phone overnight. It's going to be a very amazing interactive lesson tomorrow about advertisements, right? So is there anybody who has a question? Is there anything that we should didn't understand from what we were doing today? All right, if you have a question, please raise your hand so I can give you a chance to ask it. So this was this was what it was all about as far as advertisements are concerned. Remember, if you have a question, please raise your hand and I will give you please raise your hand. I will give you a chance to speak because we are almost out of time, so we really cannot text, right? So yes, these are the words that which they really like to use in advertisements against us. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to learn about how to analyze advertisements, so to make sure that we are not really duped. Have you seen an advertisement and then after seeing that advertisement you go to the shop, you buy the item, and then like when you come back home you are frustrated and you regret buying whatever it is that you bought? Yes, I know that feeling. That feeling is not amazing. It is not an amazing feeling at all. It is so frustrating. So in tomorrow's lesson, we'll be analyzing advertisements and really try to minimize our chances of really feeling that way, right? And usually in such advertisements, it is with those when they say buy one and get one free, right? If then if then you can really use your maths, you will realize that in most of these adverts when they say buy one and get one free, you realize that what they actually did is that they have doubled the price of one item that which you are buying, and then they say get one free. So then what they did essentially was to sell you two items at their normal prices. Okay, let me make this example. Let me saying I have this phone. Let's call it phone Y, right? This phone Y, it sells at 5,000, right? And then like it it is 5,000 each, but then you don't know, but then I know, So you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to say phone Y, it sells at 10,000, right? And then if you buy one phone Y, then you get one free. Okay, what did you do there? What happened there is that you basically bought two phone Ys at 5,000 each. You really didn't save anything. Matter of fact, you spent more money, right? Because you only needed one phone, but then you ended up buying two, right? So yeah, join us in tomorrow's lesson and you'll see how interesting advertisements are. Please come with an open mind. It's going to be a very interesting lesson, a very open-minded lesson. Yes, this is the end of our lesson for today. So like I said, tomorrow we'll be continuing because there is so much to cover as far as advertisements are concerned, right? So remember that if you have a question, remember, you can use that email stemdigitalschool@africateengeeks.co.za. Remember to join us tomorrow, guys, for another exciting lesson for grade 8 home language. It's going to be good. It's going to be amazing. It's Friday. We'll be, absorbing that Friday vibe, bringing it to our class to learn about advertisements, to become better people, better analyzers of advertisements, so that we can avoid buying things we do not want because of advertisements. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. From all of us here at STEM Digital School, we love you. Goodbye. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.